course.
Where you left off?
Really?
Yeah.
Well, except that they didn't hear anything.
They didn't hear any of it.
So,
Okay.
Well, you were right at the beginning of
Right, I think I'll just start the,
Open the
I'll go
public
at the
hearing.
public in the public.
public hearing.
Yeah.
So. Okay, is it live streaming on Facebook too?
yes.
Okay,
Make sure Leslie can hear us.
so to those of you who are watching us virtually, we apologize for the technical difficulties. Something happened with the audio. And Veronica's paying attention to your comments. So if we lose it again for some reason, hopefully we won't. Please just send a note and a comment and stop again. The only thing those of you missed that didn't hear anything was the Pledge of Allegiance. We held a moment of silence for 3 town residents who passed away this past month. And then, well, I should, Joanne Skevel, Sheldon Stone, and Linda McChrystal. And also we had a moment of silence because it is National First Responders Day, and we wanted to honor the dedication of that group of people to the work that they do. Then we had payment of bills, and then we went to the public hearing for the 2022 preliminary town highway, general fund, fire districts, and special districts budgets. I went through a brief history of how we got here, which was through a budget workshop that started in September 27th, with a tentative budget that was created by our budget officer from budget worksheets that each department submitted. The town board then worked on that budget for approximately 3 hours that night and finalized it to a preliminary budget, which is the subject of this hearing tonight. We scheduled this hearing at our October 4th board meeting. Nikki Reed let us know that she did all the notices, the official legal notice in the newspaper, but also a number of postings around the town, including at the town hall and post offices, Pompey Mall, etc. We don't need to do a tax cap override because we are not going to be close to being over the tax cap this year. Thank you, God. So I just was getting to the point where we would start the hearing, but wanted to set a few ground rules for those that want to be heard. I would ask that you state your name and your address where you live. If you're here in person, since there's about, I don't know, what we say, 10 or 11 people here, I don't think we need to have a sign-in sheet. Tim's going to take down your name and address, but you can simply raise your hand if you want to participate. I would ask each person to have, to speak once and have one turn. And then when the hearing is done, when everyone has had the opportunity to be heard, we will close the public hearing and then the board will do whatever work it needs to finalize the budget, and then we will vote. So that's the process. And do I need to do anything else before we move to open the public hearing, Tim?
No, did we waive the reading?
I didn't waive the reading, but that's the one thing we should do. Do we want to waive the reading of the budget? Is that what you're talking about?
No,
Or
legal notice.
Legal notice,
The notice.
yes.
I make a motion that we waive the reading of the legal notice for the 2022 budget.
Okay, Ann made the motion. Judy beat Carl to second it. All those in favor? Aye, opposed, motion carries. Judy, you were fast. And now I would entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to
I
open the
second.
public hearing.
Second it.
Okay, Judy seconds it. Ann made the motion. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. So. Is there anyone here that would like to be heard? Debbie?
I wanted to add.
Your name?
Deborah Grenier, 2010 Cemetery Road.
What is that? I'm sorry, 20.
2010 Cemetery Road. I just want to add, because we touched on the reval briefly last time, and I just wanted to know if that's going to be considered, the revaluation for this coming year.
Are you talking about the funding in the budget, or you're talking about doing a reval? Because there is money set aside to save towards the possibility of a reval, and I think it's 2024 possible. But we have to decide it with Fabius because we're part of a combined assessing unit program. The other thing I was going to say. Oh, but we're not doing a reval. No,
Not for, till 2024.
not till at least 2024.
Did Fabius put money aside?
I don't know. But Tom might.
They did not. The proposal came after they had already moved their budget to preliminary, and there's not enough wiggle room to start putting away.
So do we have the opportunity to possibly move that money out and give it to the highway department for the infrastructure and maybe take some more money out of somewhere in the budget and put it into payroll?
Well, the way we talked about doing that was we were gonna start this funding with the ARPA fund. We decided to use the ARPA funds only for one-time financing, was kind of a board agreement. So if we took the money that we're planning, that we had budgeted to start saving towards the reval, we should probably also take out the revenue that we're planning to use from ARPA. So it would be a neutral,
Yeah.
a net neutral to our tax rate if we did both of those things. Otherwise, if you're moving the ARPA into a salary line, then you're using it for a
Well, you're not
one-time thing that's
necessarily,
gonna compound.
you're not moving it into a salary line, you're moving it into an infrastructure line, and then you have to juggle some other money within that budget to go into,
If that dollar amount was,
Could
of
you
the
do
ARPA
that?
money was, if the board decided to move the ARPA money from the potential reval into into one of the infrastructure budget lines, they could do that.
So currently the reval money is going to, the ARPA money is going to pay for the reval? Is that what you're saying? Or?
The reval would be a one-time project. That's the perfect use of ARPA money, is to do some one-off, because we don't have the ARPA money forever. It's a limited time. So I think we as a board have discussed this with our budget officer and the use of the ARPA money for one-off kind of items. So that's why. So it's $12,000 of a much larger amount of money that we would need to do a reval. So that's just the start of, it's just putting some money aside.
but in the time right now, I feel that the 12,500 should be used for the infrastructure of something in the highway department. We have so much going on in the highway department that has been neglected. And I feel that maybe in the future, it would be a great time to do that.
We can put money there, and then we're gonna we'll just have more money that we will need to consider for next year towards a rebound.
That's fine this
It's
year.
6 of one,
I
half dozen of
feel-
another,
well,
because
I feel like we shouldn't sit on $12,500.
we're not sitting on it, we're saving towards an
Right.
expense that we know we're going to have to incur at some point. Well, I shouldn't say no, but that's what the point of the ARPA money is to, and really, this town needs to start saving towards future expenses. So the ARPA money is going to help us greatly with that, because we'll be able to dig ourselves out a little bit of some of the infrastructure needs, but I'm open to what the board wants to consider. I mean, it's $12,000 out of a $743,000 stimulus amount of money. So it's
I think it would
It's
be
not a
better
big bite.
used inside of the highway department personally. This year, that's my opinion. I think that's what we should do with it.
Kind of a bad time to do a reval because everyone's house, the house prices were so hard, the houses that were sold this past year or so are so artificially high.
Well, we're not doing a reval.
We're not doing it.
That's not, it's
And that's exactly
it's in
why.
24.
Yeah,
So,
because it's up to the supervisor to do it. I mean, legally, it's only up to the supervisor. If the supervisor doesn't want to do it, she doesn't have to. So it is up to you Renee, to do the reval, so.
I think that this year we should maybe consider.
I don't know that.
I don't think
It's
that's
always been a
true.
bold.
It's not a law that the supervisor.
I was gonna
is the
say,
one
well, I
who
don't
decides whether
know.
there's a reval.
I am not aware of a law that says the supervisor would be the only one that can consider a reval. I think that's a town board decision. But I don't know that for a
The
fact.
supervisor would bring it to the town board.
No, the town assessor brought it to the town board.
The assessor has nothing to do with reval. They do the tax assessment. I mean, I
Yeah,
don't.
I mean, that might be, I don't know where you're getting your information, but in this town, it's the tax assessor brings to the town board his opinion that there's a need for a reval.
I can back that because I've been on the board for 4 years and Larry has done this.
And I was here
So,
12 years ago when there was a reval done, and that's how it was done then.
It's just an opinion, though. You don't have to listen to what he says.
No.
You could decide yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's,
So it is up to you.
it's the
no,
discretion.
it's
No,
up to
it's
the
the
board.
discretion of this
Yeah. But
5-person.
you bring it to the board. If you don't bring it up, then it doesn't get voted on.
No, Debbie, that's not correct. But I don't want to get into it. It's not.
Actually, if a department head, anything that a department head submits for the tentative budget needs to be included in the tentative budget.
What's that?
The tentative budget, which is the first budget put together that the board works from. Any requests made by a department head needs to be included in the tentative budget so the board may discuss it. And a department head, the assessor, requested to start saving towards a reval in 2024. So that's how it ended up in the budget. It was because of a department head request.
Okay.
The assessor could have requested for a salary increase to $2 million and we would have had to put it in the tentative budget.
Okay.
So the board then works through the budget and decides which items stay and which ones don't.
Okay. I was under the impression it was the supervisor that decided. so.
Thank you, Tom.
The entire board needs to make any decisions related to town finance.
Right, but the supervisor brings it to the board, not.
The tentative budget is the supervisor's budget. This tentative budget is created by the department heads bringing to the supervisor their requests for what they want in the budget. That's why Tom is saying the assessor provided the supervisor with information about his belief that a revaluation should be something being considered by the board in the future. So it's her budget. Yes, the tentative budget is the supervisor's budget, which he presents to the board, but it's made up of the department head's information provided to the supervisor. So that's why they call it the supervisor's budget.
Okay, so it's up to the board to decide whether or not they want to do the reval. right?
Correct.
I'll see. Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what their discussion right now, actually.
Okay.
I don't know if you all want to think about it, but
We don't have a lot of
think
time,
that,
but I mean, I think we can point taken. I think that's a comment, that's a question, and we can move on to other comments and questions and decide after.
Yeah, you can't make any changes during the
Right.
public hearing. You can't make any changes until the
Right.
public
Like I
hearing is
said, just
closed and
think
you're
about it.
inactive.
We can consider it after.
Yeah.
So, anybody else want to be heard? Anybody on the virtual meeting?
I think the question has been answered. The question is, I don't know, this person's name is Seth.
Is there an
Such
ad,
people.
is there an address? Is there a last name?
No.
Can he give us his name and
I'm not- I'm not-
address? I think he's actually,
Previous meeting minutes, that's.
I was gonna say, you've probably weighed in previously on other meetings, but I don't remember his name.
Okay, Seth Shapus, 3804 Sweet Road.
Okay,
And the question is, so you are doing a reval? Contrary to your now deleted Facebook post.
No, we're not doing a reval. We are putting money aside for the possibility of a reval in an effort to save money for a possible future expense. Any other questions?
I don't see anything here. I don't see anything on Zoom.
Can I just, because no one else is asking questions, so, I
Every
saw that-
Grenadier Cemetery Road. So people can't see you on the, people can't see you on the,
Okay.
so I just want them to know who it is.
I just wanted to know that I saw that the different fire districts, I saw Manlius and Delphi, but I didn't see the Pompey Hill Fire District. Is that not?
No, we haven't.
Oh, I didn't. Then I looked at the notice at the post office. I didn't see the,
I
Well,
don't,
we would, it's not part of our budget.
it's not.
They are a independent elected board and we only collect their taxes for them. We include it in our budget summary just so that you have an idea of what the taxes are being collected in that district. But we have no authority on their tax collection amount. Our only authority is to collect the taxes once they've submitted their budget to us.
Okay, so then what line would that be under, general fund or?
If you're on TV one of the budget, the first page of the budget, it says Pompey Fire, total appropriation or the total taxes they're asking for is $532,522.
I'm sorry, I just took a snapshot of what it was posted at the post office. I didn't see.
It would not be in, I don't know what was posted in the post office. Was that the public notice that we worked on? It's not part of our budget, so it would not be up there.
Oh,
It's not the town's budget. It would be like, we wouldn't post Manlius's town budget or Fabius's town budget in our notice because they are separate boards that are elected by the public and they set their own tax rates and have their own public hearings. And I believe theirs was last week.
We just got theirs.
Yeah, I think it tells maybe when they adopted it.
and there was no.
10/21 must have been their public hearing. Because that's when they adopted their budget.
And how much was their budget?
They're asking for $532,522 in taxes collected for the commissioners.
Okay, and how is that collected through our tax bills or?
It's a budget line item on your tax bill.
Okay, so
If you're in the Pompey district,
Right, okay, so yeah, I mean, I've seen it on my tax bill, I just didn't realize it was separate from the town tax, okay, that makes sense.
just like it's a separate line item like the county tax would be.
Right.
Or the county, any other, the county tax.
Okay, thank you.
You got anything else?
I got it on Monday, the 25th. I
Debbie,
just got
did
it
you have
3
anything
days ago.
else?
Yeah, it was signed on the 21st, so that.
Just the Route 91 was really bad the other day going down into, like from Pompey down to Pompey Hill down to Janesville, like a little flooding. Are there any plans to like maybe dig out the trenches? Maybe I should ask BR.
No, it's a state road. It really isn't part of this proceeding, so why don't we take that up at public comment, but I can completely answer that.
Nothing more here.
I'd entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we close the public hearing.
Second.
Judy made the motion and seconded. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
And that would be at the point where the board would discuss any changes or additions, deletions. I have a couple of items that we did receive post preliminary budget, and that was the Delphi Falls ambulance budget from Payback. I had used an estimate based on the last 2 years of increases. It came in with a net decrease of $858, lower than what we had put into the preliminary budget. So the final budget will be $858 less. And then there was a few small changes in the assessed values. The townwide assessment went up by $155,000, $450. So basically a small house. So it must be something was added. And then the Delphi Falls Fire and Delphi Falls Ambulance special districts, they went up by 126,800. So those are minor changes. The Delphi Falls with a combined increase in the assessed value and the decrease in the amount of taxes to be collected created a 1 cent decrease in the amount of taxes being collected for Delphi. Delphi Ambulance, not Delphi Fire, that remained the same at 6 cents.
There were a 6 cent increase.
Yes, there's 6 cent increase.
And, okay, okay.
So those are the ones outside of your control, outside of my control. Those are the things that we're collecting for somebody else, another taxing authority.
Yeah. So we have some other items that we should discuss, and I'm not going to forget about the $12,000 from stimulus, but
Okay.
we did a lot of work this year on health insurance. And we've worked very hard to control the cost because it's exorbitant. It's one of the biggest expenses any entity has, government or not. And we worked with our own broker agent, but also an independent broker, and also with the Teamsters to look at their health insurance options. The one thing that we've been able to successfully accomplish is coming up with a plan for we have several groups that we cover insurance for: active employees, and then retirees, but there are retirees that are not 65 yet, and then there are retirees that are 65 and older, and those have to apply for Medicare, and that's the first line of health coverage, and then the town is the supplemental, the secondary. So we took a look at that group first. And and one of the reasons was because we were paying our current insurance carrier the same amount for providing the secondary coverage for a single person, as we were for an employee, which made no sense because Medicare is the first line, and why would we be paying the full shot? And this year, the insurance rates for our current carrier are going up 9%. So it was we've been shopping around. And what we discovered was there is a plan out there that provides better coverage for minimally more copay. So instead of paying $10 when you go to the doctor, you pay $15, that kind of situation, but it has better coverage, covers many more procedures.
And it also has a less total deductibles to be paid.
True.
It has a lower total that would,
And it
in a
covers,
worst case scenario.
and it covers eye and vision, which typically you don't get. And the cost went up this year, next year for 2022 for our current carrier for a single person to $1,087 or $1,086 and change, somewhere around there. We can get the coverage for this group of retirees for $391 a month. It's a huge savings. It's almost, what, 500, 650, I don't know. I can't do the math off the top of my head in front of you, but almost $700. And we have 6 people in that group. So do the math. 6 people times $700 a month times 12 months. It's a no-brainer to switch to this. So we're switching, which will
It's about $35,000 total.
So we're going to be, if we add that in, and we didn't have this number, this hadn't been all fully worked out at the time we did the preliminary budget, but we've been in talks and talks and talks. And so we're going to make the switch. But one thing that we need to do is make the language and the employee handbook compatible with the language in the union contract. And it's just a simply, and Tim, I gave it to you. Yeah, and I think the board has it as well. The language in the
In the CBA, it says the employee shall continue to provide the current plan and ancillary benefits in the effect that are offered by UMR or its equivalent to all bargaining union employees and independents.
So we
That's the
want,
language you wanna use.
so we want the language in the employee handbook to read the same as in the union contract. They should be the same anyway, but then that will allow us to provide this better coverage at less expense. And so if the board is so inclined to make that change, we can make that change in the budget for 2022, and we can start the process of transitioning those 6 individuals to the other insurance plan. So,
Nice
That
job.
makes sense.
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
A lot of work.
Well, it also makes sense to have both the employee handbook and the
Yes,
CBA compatible.
So if somebody wanted to make a motion to strike this language that I'm going to read to you on page 10 of the handbook, which says the individual health insurance plan available to retirees shall at all times be the same plan that is available to current employees of the town. Strike that language and add this language that I'm going to read to you and replace it with this. The individual health insurance plan for retirees shall at all times be equivalent to current full-time employees of the town. Is that the?
Those are the words we want to change.
so I would move to
Strike and add.
strike the language in the employee handbook that currently exists on, I think it's page 10. And replace it
Yep.
with language in the our current collective bargaining agreement that allows for the provision to retirees of an equivalent plan to the one that the active employees. And it needs to be the same exact language.
Yeah, the language is on page 8 of this collective bargaining agreement under retiree insurance, second sentence. The individual health insurance plan for retirees shall at all times be equivalent to full-time employees of the town.
Second that.
Is any more discussion by
I
the
think that's
board?
great.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried to change that
And
language.
direct Nikki to make that change in the handbook.
Okay.
Okay, and I'll help you out if you need help.
So then from that, I would recommend that in the general fund, page TV5, we reduce A 9060.8.
Okay.
Almost to the bottom,
What page?
page 5.
Okay.
Yep.
And that was, it's gonna, we have it at 61,000. I'd like to change it to 49,000. Reduction of 16,500. And to do the highway, that is on
No,
TV.
16,500, or you mean,
It's a reduction of, I'm sorry, $12,000 in that one. I'm cross reading my.
yeah,
lines here.
I know where that 16.5
Yep,
is.
I know where that
It's
is.
not
too.
there.
Did you want to talk about the, or let's do the health and the highway?
Yes.
Get that one out of the way first. So if you flip a couple pages forward to TV7, where you'll see DA 9060.8. And the last number there is 256,000. I would recommend taking that to 233,000. Now, the next change, did you want to talk about that we did receive a county grant since we did the preliminary budget for the, I'm gonna have to refresh which one it was.
Well, it's for a roof repair and it was originally for the salt barn roof, but I sent an email to the county explaining that because we are going to be wholly covered for that once we do the work by the insurance company. When we had originally submitted the request for funding from the county, we didn't think we were going to be wholly covered. So we we asked for some of that money to be put towards the salt barn roof repair. Since we're now going to be fully covered, it's going to go to offset the cost of repairing the 47-year-old original roof on the highway garage.
which our current estimate is 188,000. So this is
So that's
really good news for us.
16,500. I've asked to be, and I've been told it is not going to be a problem because it's an infrastructure cost that the town is going to incur, and it's very similar to the one we asked for. So we just needed to make the request, and I've done that. So that 16,500 that we're getting from the county infrastructure funding can go to offset the cost of the
Highway roof.
highway roof.
And so that's on page TB6. And it says grants from local governments, ACE 2706. We hadn't anticipated this revenue. So that would be adding a revenue of 16,500 to that line.
It's 826, what is it?
A2706. And it's a
Okay.
grant from local government.
16,500.
16,500.
Now, the next changes I'd like to talk about, well, and BR would like me to talk about. BR has some very good news for us. He was able to hire a motor equipment operator, somebody with a full CDL license. And our open position was a laborer position, which there's a significant salary change between those two positions. So we would need to add about total of about $9,000 for a budget for the highway department salaries in total, which would come out of the summer work and the 2 snow plowing lines.
Okay.
Sounds like a good idea to have an extra person that can drive a truck.
Real good idea.
To me.
Yeah, considering they're hard to find. So those are, as that 5110.1?
Yes, those are all on page TB7. Which is a highway. So the first line on the page, which said 173,200, would need to go to 176,600. The next line on the page would be the snow removal town highways, BA 5142.1 would go from 225,200 to 229,600. And then just below that, you'll see DA 5148.1, which says 61,900. That would go to 63,200. But we would need to reduce the contractual line below that to 93,396. And that's because that needs to match the amount we're getting for the county snow plowing. So those would be the 4 changes to cover the highway differential between a laborer and a motor equipment operator. Board fairly supportive of those if I punch them in?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is boring for you guys. Working on the budget.
And one other thing for the highway, with this change, as you know, we've lost several people since we did the original preliminary budget. BR feels he would like to have a part-time clerk position created to help with the paperwork that our laborer that's now going to be replaced with an MEO was doing for him. So it was part-time out in the garage, part-time in the office. And that would amount to about $9,000 based on I think we decided on 600 hours a year.
And that's we're talking a clerk 1.
That would be a clerk 1 position, most likely be paid at the $15 an hour that we do for all the other clerk 1 positions, for the clerk to the code enforcement officer, zoning clerk, planning clerk, deputy town clerk.
And
All of
just-
those are paid at 15.
Does that is that general fund then?
It would be a general fund charge because, I can tell you where I'd like to add it if you don't mind. If you go to page TB3, central brass. And we're going to add another line above where it says equipment fuel system, and that would be a personal services, A1640.1. And we would add 9,000 to that budget line. And did we want, now we need to discuss, those are all the ones I had to recommend. So we'd like to discuss the fund, the ARPA funds that we're using towards revale at this point.
That's the only thing I think is left, right?
That's the only thing that I had on my list
Yeah.
that people have brought to my attention. So the budget for the assessor is on TB2, and you'll see it 2/3 of the way down the page. So the second line is the revale of that, the 12,000. And then we also have that included in the ARPA funds under the revenue page, the same amount. So it's a crossover, the two are the same amount.
So this is one of the things I would bring to this discussion. People don't understand what a revale is. And I think this town needs to have an education on it. And maybe that's what we spend 2022 doing, which is trying to inform people what exactly a revale is and that it's not a tax increase, it's a redistribution of the tax rate. So it's fairly being paid, it's being paid for fairly by the properties in the town. So I'm just throwing that out as a consideration. Because like there's been a lot of, I think, misunderstanding about the revale. And just the fact that we even thought to put $12,000 in our budget towards saving for the possibility of doing a revale with Fabius seems to have
Caused a lot of angst.
exactly, thank you. And I think some of it unnecessarily, because I just don't think people understand what a revale really is. So I think that if we wanted to put off by a year, the consideration of funding towards it, then let's do it. But I do think if we do that, that we need to do some education of this town, and we can do it through the newsletter, which I am bound and determined to get to.
I think the time that I've spent here on the board, there's so much infrastructure right now and so much needed in the highway department. It's a really good time to take that money and put it in there right now. So I think if we can all come to that agreement, I would appreciate that.
So right now, we've
That's all process.
appropriated 63,000 of the ARPA funds towards highway equipment at this point. So you would like to take the 63 and make that 75,000?
Whatever you need to do, yeah. Wherever, do we put it into, what do we,
Well, we have the roof. I mean,
That's
the
what
the highway
I'm kinda
garage roof is
thinking.
going to be a very expensive item.
That's,
Yeah, we've only
You just said it.
appropriated 22,000 of our
I think it
ARPA
should go
funds.
into the roof.
Let's put it towards the
You said it
roof.
was 188,000 to do the roof?
Yes,
188.
and we've got 16 something against it, all out of other funds.
There you go. There's another 12,500 or 12.
That's 12,000.
Right.
We have right now.
So I think that's a big
Do it.
garage with a lot of equipment and a lot of salt going down.
And it doesn't need to have the equipment rain down from the roof that leaks.
Right.
Get it patched for now.
So I'm hearing that we're taking the A 1355.2, the revale, and reducing that to 0.
Yes.
Yes.
You can tell Larry.
Yeah, I get to tell him that. I'll wait until 5 minutes before he's leaving with his ship.
Yeah.
I already had to tell him Fabius didn't have their budget.
So then he won't be. He's too disappointed.
Sounds soft.
Okay. All right, and I will just change the paperwork that I gave you guys for the ARPA information to show that.
So are we gonna add anything to that line for the roof, 1640.2, or no? We just keep the money?
No, we wouldn't need, we've got the estimate of what it's gonna cost us, so we're just using revenue to offset
We don't need to change that line.
We don't need to
add
change,
anything.
no, I don't think so, because that was, that's still our only quote, right?
Okay.
Yes.
And that's from a county vendor.
Yes, it is.
So I mean, that's not gonna change other than the cost of material.
Right.
So is there anything else that I missed or anybody else missed before I tell you where we're at?
No, hit that magic button.
So we are currently $68,000 under the tax cap, which means that our tax cap next year is gonna start $68,000 lower than this year. So just to have you, your tax cap always resets to your previous year, so we're gonna be $68,000 less when we start our 2% calculation next year.
We'll figure it out.
Just, that's the only bad part about this reducing taxes in this year is it sets your
Why you get
much lower
penalized
next
is
year.
beyond me. Why do we get penalized
We'll
for
figure it out.
doing good?
Yep, you get penalized for doing good. That's the way New York State works. So with all of those changes, we'd be going from a general and highway tax rate of $2.66 to a tax rate of $2.60. So about a 6 cents per thousand decrease. A $100,000 house would see $6 less in their tax bill for the general and highway combined.
There we go.
Okay. We all live with that?
I think
Oh,
that's
there it
great.
is.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Definitely.
What timing?
We want to end it?
We're almost there. Just at the right time.
So if we're happy with all of the changes that we've made, it would be a motion to adopt the preliminary budget with the changes discussed tonight as the 2022 budget.
Do we do that for each fund or do we do it total?
I think we can do it, well, for the general and highway, we should definitely do that as one unit.
Okay.
And then we'll go through and do the contract control budgets, the other smaller ones.
Okay.
But that's the main one, the one that's going from $2.66 to $2.60.
Carl, would you like to make this motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
Who seconded it? Judy?
Judy.
Any other discussion?
Good job.
Oh, thank you.
Nice work.
Thanks. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay. The
Motion
next
carried.
would be the Pompey and Delphi Special Lighting Districts.
I'll make a
Motion for
motion.
that.
To approve those.
Carl did.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
The next one would be the Manlius Fire District and the Delphi Falls Fire District budgets.
I'll make a motion.
Second. Sorry.
Sheila made the motion and Ann seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
The next one will be the Special Water Districts, and I'll run down through them. I don't think Nikki needs to have them all in there, but so we have the Brickyard Falls Water District, Pompey Center Water District, Pompey Pines Water District, Pompey Pines Extension Water District, Long Meadow Water District, Third Water District, Spruce Ridge Water District, North Pompey Water Storage District, Spruce Ridge South Water District, Hartsfield Water District, Arbutus Park 1 Water District, Arbutus Park 3 Water District, and Mallard's Landing Water District. So if someone would like to make a motion to move
I'll make
all
a
of those.
motion.
Ann made a motion.
Second it.
Sheila seconded it. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And the last, well, almost last, we have several drainage districts. Pompey Pines, Preserve, Spruce Ridge South, Hartsfield, Arbutus Park 1, Arbutus Park 3, Mallard's Landing, and Yellow Birch drainage districts.
I make a motion, we accept those.
Second.
Okay, and
And
all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And last but not least, our Southern Onondaga trash system, which we were able to maintain one more year of the same rate at $325 a year, which
I'll make a
I would die for to have.
I'll make a motion.
Second it.
I pay well over $400 a year.
Ann made the motion. Judy seconded it. Any discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I think that's it for budget.
Okay. You all good with this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So our special guest, Dave Knapp, is here, our county legislator, because he has an announcement on another one of the applications we submitted for county funding.
Yes, thank you.
And you should, yeah,
Try.
nobody can see you up there.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Oh, wow. Definitely can't hide anymore. Yeah, so this is part of the Main Street grant program that we put together through the county using some of our rescue plan funds. And we had, we put together a fund of $5 million. Of course, you always get more than you have, but we got about $9 million worth of proposals in. And I'm happy to announce that Pompey is going to get the full award for both of their proposals. So that totals, call it $315,000. And specifically what this is designed as is it's a public-private partnership, and it's to help businesses, number one, recover from what we've been through, but improve the exterior, primarily the exterior of their buildings. So to beautify our main streets, our hamlets, et cetera. So I'll screw it up. Don't want to say the wrong thing. So Kellis Tire, right next door here, $114,300. And then they will match a minimum of 25% of that. They have to put on top of that. Hilltop Ice Cream, $21,138. Another property, 2620 Route 91. I'm not sure exactly which one that is.
That might be the Pompey Mall.
No, Pompey Mall is
Oh, Route
135,000.
91. That's maybe the Wayne Clark's commercial building.
Yeah, I bet that. Yeah, I bet you're right there.
Which
So
sign?
that one was 23,475. The Pompey Mall, 135,000. And he's going to put in 50 himself. Signage, landscaping, environmental beautification, the whole 9 yards.
Nice.
And then lastly, the house on the corner there, and Pompey Hill for the probable demolition of it, $21,000. Add it all up and it adds up.
Thanks.
So,
On behalf of those businesses, I can't tell you how.
yeah, no, I'm really excited. I think it's going to be a great project. All of these are great institutions in the town, and to be able to help them is really, really good.
Yep.
So
Thank you.
it'll just make our town look that much better. So the money is basically available immediately. So it's been approved.
Does everyone have to match or just a couple of them, or how does that work?
Yeah, that's why I kind of write them individually. Those are the individual awards. Now, they can vary a little bit. If one needs a little bit less and one needs a little bit more, we can,
Okay.
we can move around a little bit, but this is basically the way it was applied for.
They're asking for a 25% match from the business. So
Match, right,
if the
okay.
business comes up with 25%, the county's covering 75%.
Right.
So it's a great deal for the.
Yeah, so Hilltop, 21,138, their match would be $7,046.
Okay.
Yep.
So
Darlene's here.
Oh, there you go.
just
We'll
make Brian
figure
work
it out.
harder.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
I mean, I think I spent that there. So anyway, no, it's very, very good. And glad I brought it up.
And to know that the hamlets qualified, that was huge. Because I originally thought it was gonna be just villages only, but it
Right, yeah, no, that's,
wasn't. It was hamlets.
yeah, no, we worked to get that expanded.
Yeah, thank you.
There are rules and regulations that go along with it, that not just open up the checkbook and write the check.
Right,
So
right.
A lot of stuff's got to be resolved before that.
Yeah, but we have people to,
Work it out.
Marty's game.
Like we have to do, it like,
That's his
I'm
job.
sure there's gonna be intermunicipal agreements between the business and the county and
Exactly.
as to what the money's gonna be used for. And,
Basic plans.
yeah, right, so,
Try not to be onerous by any way, shape or form, but, you know, obviously, we gotta make sure everything, I's are dotted, T's are
Yeah.
crossed, all that. So I apologize, it's a 3-meeting night, this is number 2.
so,
So,
well, then I'm glad I pointed out Darlene because
yeah, no,
the
excellent,
owner of Hilltop.
Yes.
So,
excellent.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
so I think it's public comment time if there is any, otherwise. It'll be one of the shortest meetings in history. Oh, Debbie.
About the
Oh, the road, yeah, okay, so, the first, so on Route 91, as you're heading towards, Jamesville, you come, on as you come off the curve where where Coleman Hill Road is, but down north of, or south of Frank Long Road, there's a stretch there that has been flooding out with the rains. We had 2 weeks ago when we had that Saturday rain that was torrential. It flooded out. There's a stream that runs off the east bank of.
I was down there today, so I just wanted to hear what you were saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a stream that runs off the east bank. There's a culvert that goes under the road and it doesn't that goes across the road and then it does a 90-degree turn to go down to continue on the stream. So it's not a great design, let's put it that way. And the bedrock in the stream, when it's flowing fast enough, his build comes down and blocks the entrance to that culvert and causes the water to go out into the road and it causes rocks to be in the road, pretty big size rocks. You would not want to hit it with your car, nor be hit by it. And then the sediment and the smaller rocks, there's a grate that goes over that entrance to the culvert, but it doesn't catch the smaller rocks. So they have built up at the other end, the exit, and there's about this much room in the top of the culvert for an exit. So it's a bad situation because it cannot handle the capacity of water that's going through there. So the neighbors are irate because it happened again Tuesday. And I was down there Tuesday with them, looking at the situation. And then, and it also backs up at Frank Long Road. And there's also a grate on the east side of the road that should help to catch the water and take it underground down the hill. It's completely covered with leaves and mud. Nothing would get through it. So that needed to be cleaned out. The culvert needs to be cleared so that the water can get through it. So I spoke with the state DOT's traffic and safety unit and expressed my concern that this was not engineered properly, that they needed to bring somebody out, long-term solution, not short-term, but long-term. Like that needs to be redesigned, in my opinion. What do I know? I'm not an engineer, but that's what it looks to me. It's not a good design because they're telling me that they do maintain it and that it continues to happen where it gets clogged up and doesn't work properly. So the rain's coming again, and this rain on Tuesday was not that much compared to the Saturday, well, that 2 Saturdays ago. But because our ground is so saturated, there's no place for water to go. So it's continuing to flood. So I called the North Syracuse DOT, spoke to the supervisor there. He was supposed to send somebody out today. I don't know if he did. When I went by there around 4 o'clock, it didn't look like anybody had been out, but
I was there about 12:30.
okay. So the grate on the east side of the road, I still think is covered with leaves and mud, which makes it useless. And when I was there well, it doesn't matter when I was there 2 days ago. What they said they were going to do is bring a grate all in tomorrow to clear both ends of the pipe. But they also have this machine called an Aqua Tech, which will, you put it in one end of a pipe and you blast it and it will clear everything out. Because the grate all can't do that. It's not gonna, it's only gonna help at the entrance and the
But it's
exits.
right down through the
But
culvert.
this will flush it out, basically. But, so that is my hope that they will do that tomorrow before it rains, because that can be the short-term solution. But I do think that I'm going to ask them to do a study of it, and they need to bring their engineer out and consider what else to be done. So that's the answer.
So it's a state, it's not a town.
No, the state, 91 is a state
State
road.
road.
So I can be, the town can be an intermediary. We can intercede on their behalf.
That's why I wanted to hear what you, that's why I'm not duplicating.
Don't. So I'm hoping they've been buried with flooding in Cicero, which is way worse than what we have here because of, basements have 4 feet of water in them out there. And what happens with the 91 strip is the driveways that are gravel on the west side of the road are getting washed out repeatedly every time this happens. So that's where the irate neighbors come in, and I don't blame them. So we're working on it, but I've tried to explain that I don't have the authority to tell the state what to do, or else I tell them to be there tomorrow with that grate all and that aquatech and take care of it for the short term, but we're working on it. You're welcome. All right, thanks, Dave. Any other public comment? Darlene Harrison, number 4 road. I don't know your address, but I know you're on number 4 road.
8152. Number 4 Road West. So with the beautification award there, the one that you said was on Route 91, that's probably the Clark's building. And the other one, not you said, but Dave said, for the building, he said the building on the corner, so is that?
I'm pretty
across
sure,
from me, or is
yeah.
that on the corner?
I'm pretty sure that's Donnie Chrysler's property.
The demolition across the street from your place.
That's
Probable.
not a business, that's not a business though.
I don't,
I mean, it's for demolition, which,
the way I read the main.
Beautification.
Yeah, I think that it could be used to improve the appearance in.
even though it's not a business.
Business
It's for
district.
beautification, so it.
And that's a good question. I wish you'd ask Dave. Because that's not my, we applied and we got the money.
I'm just wondering, is somebody gonna say that's fraud? How did,
It won't get to that point because it's so transparent. I mean, we're talking about it here. Dave announced it here. We know where the money's coming from. We know who it's going to. It will, as Sam
So
said,
is
there's a
it-
lot of hoops.
is it stated in the application or whatever that it is strictly for demolition?
I don't know. I know that that's one of the ways the money can be used is to demolish or to improve an eyesore, demolish or improve an eyesore.
It's called the Main Street Beautification Fund. So
But for businesses,
in the
No.
hamlet, no,
No, it's been going on for a while across the
he
county and the
said for
village.
business.
I think he may have said the businesses that were accepted.
yeah, it's funding for the whole thing up there, the whole hamlet. And whatever we feel or they feel needs beautification, that's what they put the money towards.
I thought he said it was for business.
Well, he mentioned all the businesses.
He talked about only thing I wrote down was public-private partnerships to improve exteriors.
Yep.
But I'd have to watch the videotape.
I mean,
to
as
what
as
exactly-
long as,
I know,
as long as
I
it's on
know,
the up and up, I guess, and
it is.
then it actually goes for that purpose that it was requested for.
I hear you.
Okay.
Don't demolitions go on the property bill of the taxpayer?
They do if the taxpayer can't pay it and it's considered unsafe and the town has to take it down. But if the property owner does it, then no. You know, some property owners do it themselves.
So will he keep owning that property, the property owner?
He's supposed to be here, I think, at the next board
Wednesday
meeting on November 3rd to address the situation, because we've had him here with a concern about the safety of that building. So to be continued Wednesday night when he's here, we'll find out what his plans are, what he's been doing. Okay.
So how do we go about getting the funds?
They'll
Because
send me, I'm sure they'll send the town a letter. And they'll probably send the property owners. You guys all filled out your own applications that we submitted as a packet. And all of your contact information is there. I'm sure they will contact you.
Oh, okay.
There's gonna be, I'm already administering this in another municipality.
How's it going?
It's a chore, but the work is, the work is being done. The one that's in process right now is a painting job on a building, and the deposit was made by the municipality, and the matching grant part was made by the owners of the building, so. And then once all the projects completed, then that'll be turned, then the municipality make the final payment. Everything will be turned over to the county, and the county will reimburse the municipality for their outlay. So I think we should hope that all $315,000 of projects don't start simultaneously, and we're fronting that
Okay.
portion of it.
Yeah, that would be interesting. So,
Yeah, demolition, does the property owner have to spend some of the money?
yeah, at least 25%.
And if they
Give or
can't
take, he
afford it?
said, I guess you can play with that a little bit, which was the first time I heard that. I thought it was you definitely had to come up with a quarter of it.
What if he
Well, I think
decides-
in-kind services are considered in this. If he is doing some of the demolition himself, and he can prove what his time is worth, that
Oh,
may be
okay.
a way that he might meet his 25%. Because this grant has been, where it's been used by the municipalities. One of the municipality got some of the entrance signs and stuff like that. And the county would only pay for the signs themselves. The municipality had to pay for the signs to be installed and that kind of stuff. So
Yeah,
the cost sharing can be in-kind services, I believe.
they do that with farming, fencing grants, things like that, so. same
I mean,
thing.
we'll have to read,
Yeah.
we're gonna have some Bibles to read when all this paperwork comes through.
Yeah. Okay.
So is there an expiration? Because if I can't get it done in the spring, I probably couldn't do it over the summer. So could I pick it back up in the fall?
I don't have this municipality's grant documents. The one that I have had a 2-year expiration date on it.
2 years, okay.
And
The county
theirs
wants
started
you to
before
be able to use the
COVID.
money.
Right.
So I'm hoping that they'll be flexible with the conditions they put place on it.
Yeah, the first grant went out in 2019. They had until 2021, and they extended that for 1 year to 2022 because of COVID.
Right.
But part of the reason is it started with villages first, and a lot of the when COVID hit, a lot of the businesses couldn't go ahead and fund their projects, and so they dropped out of the program. That's why there's so much funding now going to hamlets and stuff outside of the villages.
So the business owners can do part of the work themselves to make up for that money, possibly.
You
Possibly.
mean for their quarter?
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
sounds like it. And that's all going to be subject to whatever agreements you work out with, as a business, you work out with the county.
Right.
The town is sort of like the gatekeeper, making sure things get done and back and forth.
Well,
So,
everything has to follow our procurement policy as well. So if we're paying for a sign that's over $1,000, we have to get 3 quotes. The same thing applies. business owners.
Marty Skane told me exact opposite.
Really? He said
He
we
said
don't have to
that-
follow procurement?
That because it's a private business that they didn't have to. But I don't know. now that we
I
have two
think we
different
gotta make
opinions, we
sure
need to
we
clarify
gotta
that.
review the paperwork.
Yeah.
So I don't want you to leave the impression that this is all going through the town, because it's not. This is community development through the county. That's who's actually funding this, not the town, even though we're gonna
Right.
be outlaying some money. So there's strict rules and regulations that community development on the county level is going to have. And they're gonna be the ones that set the guidelines for how this money is going to be spent and whether the people qualify for it, not the town. Town doesn't make that decision.
Just the town has to make sure that all the rules are
Yeah.
followed before we can,
Before we lay out our
our
money,
money, right?
before we, so, but we're not setting the rules. It's gonna be the county that sets the rules.
As I said, it's a public-private partnership, so I'll be working on it together. It's not, you're not gonna be on your own and, you know, have to deal with. The door's open, okay? 'Cause,
The big thing is if they do let you do work, you're in the best seat right now because you can do anything.
Not siding though, Sheila.
Oh.
Not siding.
You'll learn.
It'll be like.
At your grant level, the worst case scenario would probably be getting 3 quotes for the work. Would be my guess. Off the top of my head, but don't quote me on that, but that looking at the dollar amounts involved, that would probably be the most likely scenario.
Okay.
Well, we got off to a bad start, but I think we're ending on a good note. That audio problem. Pardon me?
I do have one question here from Stan Gorman. From the Pompey Club, thought the Pompey Club was eligible for some of the county beautification grant money as well. This had been mentioned, but didn't know this was happening now. Is it too late to apply? Would love to improve the clubhouse.
The reason why that business isn't eligible is because it's not in a hamlet. Has to be part of a community, a business community, and unfortunately, that golf course is not. That's my understanding. That doesn't mean I won't ask, because I will ask. So,
And if the same thing happens that happened with the villages, some of these people are gonna drop out and there may be,
there might be
they
more.
might expand it even more.
So I will ask, but that was my understanding that that business wasn't eligible for this.
It had to be in a business district, I think, but
Is 2620 Route 91, is that a business district? Because I don't really know what that is. I can't figure out.
2620. Oh, that's the one? Yeah,
It's right
yes,
in
it
the
is. It's right in the hamlet. It's right in the hamlet.
What is that? I don't.
It's the high.
Sign Solutions.
Oh, science.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Has everyone asked all their questions? I would entertain a motion
Wait.
to adjourn.
the board should authorize you to sign the agreements with Excelis for the plan Medicare Blue PPO so that we can get started on
Oh,
signing up our over 65 retirees.
I make a motion that Renee signs.
Second it.
Okay. Any discussion? No. That was just like so quick. I was still listening to Tom. A little bit in a hurry to get into this. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried, and I need
Now
those
you can do
papers
the one
back.
that you want to do. Now you can do
Now I
the
will
one you wanna
entertain a
do.
motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
The other one.
Nobody seconded it? I'll second it. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, adjourned. Thank you all. Thank you for coming.